Good afternoon, everybody. I am basically a field man. We work on agricultural farms. I've been a scientist earlier. My job was to evolve new varieties, which everybody knows is one of the basic inputs for improved agriculture. Therefore, I would deal mostly on a subject that may not be of direct interest to you. It's only your latent interest in production and, of course, the availability of the raw materials that will perhaps keep you engaged with me. Otherwise, I hope that even if you don't like some of the things or not conversant with them, please bear with me. Value of pulses is my first slide. I'm talking of pulses because pulses are, since morning, you have already heard so much. They are sources of protein to human beings, but I am starting with how they are useful to the farmer. Because a farmer would grow pulses, of course, to earn a few bucks that he wants to earn from the soil, but there are certain things that are inherent in his scheme of things. And it is very important that whatever the farmer grows is of a very long-term sustainable use to his livelihood, which depends upon the land. And that is why the importance of pulse crops, which act as fertilizer factories for nitrogen nutrient at the farm. The roots of pulse crops are carrying some microbes called rhizobia. They nodulate on the roots, and they are the agents of fixing atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, making it available to the plant. And whatever the plant needs, they produce in excess. And when the plant is harvested, they still leave some back into the soil so that the subsequent crop, the next crop, can make use of it. So pulses are not only important, and nitrogen, when we calculate the amount of protein, it is estimated through the nitrogen content in the grains also. So it is basically a protein requirement which we are measuring. Pulses, as you all know, they're talking about 23 million hectares. Why such a large area goes to these crops and still we have small production is because pulses are grown in areas where nothing else will grow. You will find the best of the areas going to some of the most common staple cereals like rice, wheat, even maize and jowar. But pulses are grown only in those areas where the farmer knows that if he puts rice or wheat, he will get practically nothing. Or what he gets from pulses will be much more than what we will get by growing the well-known high-yielding crops like rice and wheat. If you grow them in the conditions where pulses are grown, I am sure that we'll be facing the same kind of situation as we face with pulses for wheat and rice also. They will not be able to yield more than protein, more than pulses. So we have to bear in mind, and at the same time, these crops are what cover the risks for the farmer. He has so much land, he can only grow what best he wants to grow there. And therefore, they cover the risk of not growing those things which are not of very high importance to or will not be able to yield so much. We are known as a country of diverse languages, diverse agroclimatic conditions, and we are also known for the diversity of the crops that we are able to grow. If you go to USA, you will find you run across the country which is 3 times the size of India, 9 times the size of India, and you will find about 5, 6 crops grown there. But in this country, you drive 100 kilometers and you will come across about 10 crops, different crops. And in this diversity of crops, the pulses play a major role. Pulses are interspersed as what they call as catch crops, as cash crops, and whatnot. We'll come to that also. And that is what also gives us diversification of land use and so forth. But of course, coming back to the human beings as related to pulses, they are important sources of protein, and proteins as a child grows, you see the growth of brain, the quality and the quantum of growth that cerebral cells need is dependent upon a certain balanced protein and certain quantity of protein, which is provided by pulses. And if up to the age of 5 years, a child doesn't get the right quantum and quality of the proteins, his brain development will be affected. And so will be that of the mother. Mother will be also undernourished or malnourished if she is not provided the protein substitutes. And therefore, it is very important for the entire home. The women and the children make your home. And of course, there are certain special constituents of pulses like antioxidants, which are now known. These things 10 years back, very few people used to talk about these substances, but now we find that antioxidants are important for longevity of human life. We as a country have a very successful rate of increasing the life expectancy. And pulses have played a good role there by virtue of the antioxidants they carry. Now, pulses are known for their low yields. But I tell you that if you look at the records of the performance of pulse crops, the highest yields recorded by pulses are no less than those recorded by the highest yielding crops like wheat or rice. It is only certain combinations of circumstances that make them produce so much. But since, as I told, most of the time they are grown in conditions which are limiting, which have a lot of disadvantages, because of which their production is less. But otherwise their potential is very high. Their adaptation is good to some of the less favorable conditions. As I said, risk mitigation is there. The pulses will continue to have a large demand, because even if the prices go up and therefore the demand comes down, or if the number of non-vegetarians goes up and people may get an impression that it will go down, it will never come down, because our population is increasing, our affordability is increasing. It is only a question of being able to buy it in the market. The people in the lower rung, who are mostly vegetarians, would like to consume more pulses than what they are consuming now, if the prices were more favorable. That is what calls for a higher productivity level and higher production in the country. Now, their yield potential, as we have been talking, we have to assess how much we are producing now, how much we can really produce. Now, this slide gives an impression, gives you an idea of the percentage improvement that we can get at the farmer's field level with our existing technology. What the farmers are getting is about, let us say, in chickpea, for instance, there is 22% contribution of improved varieties alone. If the farmer just uses one of the components of improved technology, he can get as much as 22% improvement by variety alone. Then the rhizobia, which I was telling you, these are the nutrients creating or the nitrogen fixing elements in the root. They can contribute another 13%. Sulfur application, we have been talking about plant nutrition and nutritional aspects or the soil health aspect. Sulfur is a limiting factor for most pulses, and application of sulfur alone will raise the production by 15%. Plant protection management, IPM is integrated pest management. It contributes another 20%. I'm surprised that the Economic Survey of India, if you look at it, how important this plant protection becomes, and how we are biased against use of chemicals, is that we are willing to sacrifice 20% of production just because a few farmers may not be using the chemicals the right way. I was mentioning Economic Survey of India. It does not carry any information on the amount of plant protection chemicals used in the country. There is no